That night, my mother gripped my hand tightly and whispered as if she had just seen her own death. "Don't go. If you step out that door, you'll never come back the same again." I laughed. I thought she was acting in some kind of horror movie. But what I didn't know was, just a few hours later, my laughter would turn into screams for help. One small decision. One stubborn nod. And I nearly traded my life because of it. Have you ever ignored your mom just because you thought she was overreacting? Have you ever been so confident that you dismissed a warning, only to regret it for the rest of your life? If you think this is just an ordinary story, then listen to what I'm about to tell you. And make sure you hit subscribe right now, because what happens next will give you chills. My mom has always been the type to see danger in everything. A strong gust of wind blew through the window. She said it was a bad omen. A black cat darted across the road. She sighed and whispered, "Something bad is about to happen." And if you think she was just superstitious, sorry, but sometimes her instincts were more accurate than any science. And me? I was the stubborn son. Always eager to prove myself right. I treated her warnings like nothing more than an old, annoying habit. I often thought, she's just imagining things. But maybe she really could see what the human I wasn't meant to. Do you believe in a sixth sense? Or are you like me, someone who only believes once disaster actually strikes? That day, my closest friends invited me out for a night in the suburbs. We wanted an adventure. A night to remember. A bonfire, music, freedom. It sounded perfect. Except for one thing. My mom was strongly against it. She begged me to stay home. Her voice trembled like she'd just woken from a nightmare. She said, "Something bad is coming tonight. Don't go. Please." I laughed. I even teased her, saying she watched too many horror movies. But you know what? Sometimes the jokes we make end up being prophecies of disaster. I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "Don't worry, Mom. I know what I'm doing." But the truth is, I knew nothing at all. I was just a kid desperate to prove I was grown up. And I walked out the door, leaving behind a pair of eyes filled with despair. Have you ever left home and felt like someone was watching you for the very last time? Do you believe in your mother's intuition? The drive to the outskirts felt normal at first. The car was full of laughter, music blasting, snacks being passed around. It felt like the kind of night where nothing could go wrong. But deep down, a tiny part of me kept replaying my mother's trembling voice. The air outside grew colder as we left the city behind. Streetlights disappeared. The world turned into nothing but trees, shadows, and the crunch of our tires on the gravel road. And that's when the first sign appeared. The headlights flickered. Just for a second, but enough to make everyone glance at each other nervously. The driver laughed it off, saying it was probably the old battery. But I couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness outside wasn't just dark. It felt alive. Have you ever had that creeping thought that maybe, just maybe, you're being watched? I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was paranoia. But I swear, every mile deeper into those woods felt like a mile closer to something waiting for us. The car slowed as the road narrowed. Leaves crunched louder beneath the tires, echoing like bones snapping. No one was laughing anymore. Silence filled the air. The headlights swept across the trees. For just a moment, I thought I saw a figure standing between the branches. But when the light hit it fully, nothing. Empty forest. Have you ever turned your head so fast your heart nearly stopped, only to see nothing there? A cold gust swept through the car, carrying a metallic smell. Blood? I tried to convince myself it was nothing. But the more I ignored it, the stronger it got. "Hey, did you see that?" my friend whispered from the back. We all turned. Hanging from a tree was a dirty white cloth, fluttering in the wind like it was waving us closer. The silence grew unbearable. We turned on the radio to drown it out. But instead of music, the speakers shrieked and then died. Dead silence again. The road closed in, trees forming a tunnel of darkness. Suddenly, bam! The car jolted violently, like it ran over something. The driver slammed the brakes. We jumped out to check. No rocks. No branches. Nothing. But when I looked up, my blood froze. On the windshield was a muddy handprint. Fresh. still dripping. We scrambled back into the car, but before we could even catch our breath, the engine sputtered and died. No matter how hard the driver turned the key, it wouldn't start. We were stranded. I grabbed my phone. No service. Not even a single bar. Have you ever looked at your phone and realized it was just a useless brick? That was me, right then. Then we heard it. A faint crack. Like a branch snapping. At first we told ourselves it was just an animal. But then came another. And another. This wasn't random. It was footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps circling us. I lifted my phone's flashlight. And for the briefest second, I saw him. Tall. Thin. Motionless between the trees. Then, gone. We locked the doors, our breaths loud and shaky. Knock, knock, knock. 3 taps on the back of the car. Not rushed. Not frantic. Deliberate. As if to say, I know you're in there. And that's when we realized, we weren't just lost. We were being hunted. Through the foggy glass, a pale face suddenly pressed against the window. Hollow eyes, wide and unblinking. I screamed. Everyone did. The driver jammed the key again. Miraculously, the engine roared to life. We sped forward, tires spitting gravel. But bam! The car lurched sideways as something heavy landed on the roof. Metal groaned. He was on top of us. Run! Get out! I shouted. We flung the doors open and bolted into the forest. Branches whipped our faces, thorns tore at our skin, but we didn't dare stop. Behind us, a laugh echoed, low, guttural, inhuman. Have you ever run knowing something was right behind you, yet too terrified to look back? We stumbled onto another road. Relief washed over us, until we realized it looked exactly like the one we had left behind. The same crooked sign. The same dead trees. We weren't escaping. We were being led in circles. Then the car radio, dead for so long, crackled back to life. A distorted voice hissed, "Don't run, you've already been chosen." And then silence again. The headlights illuminated what lay ahead, wooden stakes, each draped with bloody, torn clothing. Not cloth. Clothing. Human clothing. We weren't the first ones here. And if we stayed, we wouldn't be the last. We inspected the ground. The mud wasn't marked with normal footprints. They were long, twisted, claw-like. Not human. And then came the chanting. A soft, eerie melody drifting through the woods. Dozens of voices whispering our names. My mom's words echoed in my head, "There are places you must never go. Once you enter, you will never leave the same." This wasn't bad luck. It wasn't a coincidence. We had stepped straight into a ritual ground. And he, the tall, faceless figure, was its guardian. We hadn't stumbled into danger. We had been chosen. And then, he came. Emerging from the trees, towering and thin, his hollow eyes glowed in the dark. The driver screamed, flooring the gas. The figure vanished, only to slam into the side of the car with a force that nearly flipped it. Metal crunched. We bailed. We sprinted through the forest, but behind us came heavy footsteps. Closer. Closer. Then, one of us fell. Hui, his foot tangled in a root. We tried to pull him up. But from the shadows, a bony hand clamped around his ankle. Hui clawed at the ground, screaming for us to run. And in one final, horrifying tug, he was gone. Dragged into the darkness. All that remained was a smear of blood leading into the woods. We lost him. We knew then, we weren't all getting out alive. We kept running until the trees parted and headlights blinded us. A truck driver pulled us up onto his vehicle, horrified by our appearance. And just as we thought we were safe, I swear I heard it, that same whisper from the woods, "It isn't over." We survived. But not whole. An empty seat in the truck reminded us of Hui. No one spoke. No one could. Since that night, I've never been the same. I wake up drenched in sweat, hearing faint knocks outside my window. 3 knocks. Always 3. If you've made it this far, remember this: sometimes your mom's warnings aren't superstition. Sometimes they're the truth, paid for in blood. So tell me, would you have listened? Or would you have done what I did, and laughed it off? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more chilling stories like this, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.